India Live, India's voice to the world with me, Deepika, coming up in the next 30 minutes. After Srinagar, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh visits Bhuj Air Force Station, interacts with armed personnel to boost their valor. Major terror crackdown in Jammu and Kashmir, 6 terrorists neutralised in the last 48 hours in 2 operations in Shopian and Tral. Amid national security concerns, Indian traders meeting to decide on a trade boycott of Turkiye and Azerbaijan. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar holds first ever telephonic conversation with his Afghan counterpart. Thanks Afghanistan for condemning Pahalgam terror attack, affirms India's commitment to carry forward development works in Afghanistan. Russia and Ukraine to hold first peace talks in 3 years in Istanbul in the absence of top leaders. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio downplays expectations for a peace breakthrough. A very good afternoon to all the viewers joining us at this afternoon broadcast on DD India Live. To begin with the latest that we are tracking for all of you at this hour, the Indian Army on Thursday said that in line with the talks held between the Directors General of Military Operations of India and Pakistan on the 10th of May, the two sides have agreed to continue implementing confidence-building measures aimed at reducing alertness levels along the line of control and other sensitive sectors. The DGMOs of India and Pakistan on Monday held talks over a dedicated hotline to discuss ways to prevent inimical military actions and consider immediate steps to reduce troop deployments along the borders and forward areas. The recent de-escalation comes after India's Operation Sindoor that saw precise strikes on suspected terror infrastructure in Pakistan earlier this month. The strikes, carried out in response to the Pahalgam terror attack, reportedly targeted several key Pakistani military installations. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday reiterated India's stance on Pakistan, categorically stating that talks between the two nations could only take place regarding dismantling of terror infrastructure and vacating Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir.
The only thing which remains to be discussed on Kashmir is the vacation of illegally occupied Indian territory in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We are open to discussing that with Pakistan.
Dr. S. Jaishankar took a strong stance against Pakistan's terror infrastructure and said the country had a list of terrorists that needs to be handed over.
Our relations, our dealings with them will be bilateral and strictly bilateral. That is a national consensus for many years, and there is absolutely no change in that consensus that dealings with Pakistan will be bilateral. Talks with Pakistan. I think the Prime Minister made it very clear that the only talks with Pakistan will be on terror. That Pakistan has a list of terrorists who need to be handed over. They have to shut down the terrorist infrastructure. They know what to do. We are prepared to discuss with them what is to be done on terrorism. Those are the talks which are feasible.
Dr. S. Jaishankar said that the Indus Waters Treaty will continue to remain in abeyance until Pakistan puts an end to cross-border terrorism.
The Indus Waters Treaty is held in abeyance and will be continued to be held in abeyance until cross-border terrorism by Pakistan is credibly and irrevocably stopped.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar also spoke about support that India received from international community during Operation Sindoor.
We actually got a lot of international support. Many ministers, many leaders called up PM, many ministers called me up. We had a Security Council resolution which very clearly said that the perpetrators of the attack should be held accountable. and on May 7th morning, we held them accountable through the action which was taken through our Operation Sindoor.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh visited Bhuj Air Force Station, where he is interacting with personnel of the Indian Army, Indian Air Force, Border Security Force and other security agencies. He will be briefed on the current security situation and operational preparedness by the senior commanders there. Lieutenant General Dheeraj Seth, General Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Command, will also be present during the visit and will brief the Minister on the exemplary role being played by the Indian Army and the BSF operating under Bhuj-based Independent Infantry Brigade. The visit highlights the coordinated efforts of all security forces in ensuring the safety and security of critical assets in the region. The Defence Minister's interaction with the troops is aimed at acknowledging their courage, operational excellence and high morale in the face of emerging threats, especially in the domain of drone warfare. And to get you more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent Meghna Dev, straight from Ground Zero. Good afternoon, Meghna. This visit comes at a very crucial time and also after Rajnath Singh's Defence Minister's visit to Srinagar. And also when we talk about the drone warfare era and talking about the defence capabilities of India that India currently holds, how significant this visit is in tandem with the significance of Bhuj Airbase. Meghna.
Yes, Deepika, very important visit of the Raksha Mantri to Bhuj Air Force Station. We are actually going to witness, he will be speaking to to our air warriors. He's also going to speak and take stock of what kind of preparedness is there, what kind of operational preparedness is there. We also would be seeing that, yesterday as we saw at the Badami Bagh Cant Airbase, at the Badami Bagh Cant in Srinagar, that he did speak, sent out a very strong message for Pakistan that the way it's harboring terrorists and terrorism, it will be falling in its own trap. And besides that, also he clearly said that we are not going to give in to any kind of nuclear blackmail, and the fight against terrorism would continue, or our operation against terrorism will continue. Very clear messaging. And besides that, very important aspect that he touched upon yesterday as well, and as you asked, the indigenous capabilities that we have. We are talking about Akash. We are talking about Akash, which is a short range surface to air missile. It can engage multiple air offensives at a time in its autonomous mode as well. So we'll definitely have such indigenous capabilities. And not only we're talking about Akash, we are also talking about other defense systems. We are talking about Dhanush, we are talking about Arjun, the tank. We are also talking about Tejas, light combat aircraft. We are talking about advanced light helicopters. So, a lot of manufacturing being done in India. We are talking about that we have reached about 24,000 crores in terms of exports in 2024-25. We are also eyeing at, in the next 5 years, we'll be reaching somewhere around 50,000 crores in terms of exports. And we are aiming to become the largest exporter in terms of the defense sector by 2047. So that's the aim, and that clearly shows the kind of manufacturing capacities and capabilities that India has built in the past few years. We're also talking about what defense capabilities we are building, not only in terms of the kind of you said as the drone warfare, you said as how the modern warfare has changed, but we're also talking about how we are also manufacturing for the Navy. We are manufacturing these aircraft carriers, we are manufacturing fast patrolling systems, we are submarines and much more in that sector. So definitely not only guarding our skies, guarding our coastline, as well as with the kind of artillery that we are manufacturing for our army as well. Clearly how India is advancing its military manufacturing sector is something that the world is also looking at. And we are not only talking about manufacturing, we are also talking about tech transfer. We are talking about joint collaborations with other countries wherein we are using the technology, we are sharing technology, and we are building and co-manufacturing and definitely manufacturing in India. So that is what the prowess of India is at the moment. And the kind of engagement of these offensives that we have done during Operation Sindoor clearly showcases what capacities we have built and the kind of allocation that the government is doing for the research and development sector speaks volumes of how we are aiming at our 2029 goals, and we are also aiming at our 2050 goals. To add on, Deepika, I would also like to tell you that Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh is visiting Smriti One. I'm just outside Smriti One, which is in Bhuj at the moment. We are here at the moment, and what we definitely see is that he will be visiting here. Now, this is one of those memorials which have been built to pay homage to the people who lost their lives in the 2001 devastating earthquake of Kutch, and the kind of resilience that the people of Kutch have shown, the kind of resilience and the kind of rebuilding that they have done, how much of devastation it was. Everything has been showcased here. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it was his brainchild to build a memorial like this to show that how collective efforts, how the resilience can lead up to something that what Kutch is at the moment. So definitely a lot in store when he's visiting. Besides, obviously, very important aspect, a strong message being sent out that our forces are completely prepared for any offensive, any untoward incident that comes towards us.
All right. Thank you so much, Meghna, for joining us and bringing us the latest straight from Bhuj. Now, post-Operation Sindoor, Kashmir is returning back to normalcy. Markets are abuzz with the visitors, schools are open, and the flight operations have been fully restored from and to Srinagar, with Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu urging the people across the country to stand with the people of Kashmir by visiting the region and supporting its economy. Chief Minister Omar Abdullah also held a meeting with key tourism players, emphasizing government's resolve to restore confidence in Kashmir's tourism sector. Union Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting L. Murugan leads a Tiranga Yatra in Belonia, South Tripura. Now, this was the second Tiranga Yatra that was taken out in Tripura to display solidarity with the Indian Armed Forces for their remarkable feat in Operation Sindoor and to hail the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Tiranga Yatra witnessed countrymen raising slogans in support of Indian Armed Forces and PM Modi. Major terror crackdown in Jammu and Kashmir. In an army press briefing, IGP Kashmir V.K. Bharti said that in the last 48 hours, a total number of 6 terrorists have been neutralized. 2 operations were conducted in the Kelar, in Shopian and Tral areas. He further reiterated that the army committed to end the terror ecosystem. Take a listen.
हम लोगों ने पिछले 48 घंटों में 2 सक्सेसफुल ऑपरेशन यहाँ अंजाम दिए हैं। ये 2 ऑपरेशंस एक केलर के इलाके में जो कि शोपियां में आता है वहाँ हुआ, और दूसरा जो कि कल जो था त्राल के इलाके में हुआ। इन दोनों ऑपरेशंस में 6 टेररिस्ट को न्यूट्रलाइज किया गया।
Now, India has exposed yet another instance of fake news being circulated by Pakistan on social media, this time involving a fabricated front page of a reputed British daily. According to a fact check issued by the Press Information Bureau, an image making the rounds on various social media platforms purportedly shows the front page of the UK-based The Daily Telegraph, dated May the 10th. The headline reads, Pakistan Air Force, the undisputed king of the skies. However, the PIB, or the Press Information Bureau, has confirmed that the image is entirely fake and AI generated. In a follow-up post, PIB said, and I quote, this fake claim was further amplified by Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar during his statement to the Senate on 15th of May. By endorsing a completely fabricated image and headline, Pakistan intentionally lent official weight to a piece of digital deception, unquote. India welcomed the Afghan regime's rejection of attempts to create distrust between the two countries during External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's first interaction with Acting Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi. In his first ever conversation, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on X wrote, and I quote him, good conversation with Acting Afghan Foreign Minister Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi. Deeply appreciate his condemnation of the Pahalgam terrorist attack. Welcomed his firm rejection of recent attempts to create distrust between India and Afghanistan through false and baseless reports. Underlined a traditional friendship with the Afghan people and continuing support for their development needs. Discussed ways and means of taking cooperation forward, unquote. Well, this is also the first political level contact and conversation since the Taliban captured power in Kabul in 2021. In January this year, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri met Muttaqi in Dubai. Now, India has revoked the security clearance of Turkish ground handling firm Celebi Airport Services India Private Limited with immediate effect. In an order issued on Thursday, the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security said that the decision was taken in the interest of national security. The security clearance for this company had been approved by the BCAS Director General in November 2022. Celebi Aviation provides passenger handling, flight operations, cargo and postal services, as well as management of aero bridges and warehouse services at airports across 9 cities, including Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Goa, Cochin and Kannur. In compliance with a directive from BCAS, Delhi International Airport Limited has formally ended its association with Celebi entities responsible for ground handling and cargo operations at Indira Gandhi International Airport. Adani Airports Holding has ended its partnership with Chinese digital airport platform Dragon Pass that provided access to airport lounges with immediate effect. As a result, Dragon Pass members will no longer be able to access lounges at airports managed by the Adani Group, the Ahmedabad-based company said in an official statement on the 15th of May. Now, the Confederation of All India Traders convened a national conference in New Delhi with key trade leaders from across the country in attendance amid rising calls to boycott Turkish products. At this conference, a decision will be made on halting all import-export trade with Turkiye and Azerbaijan due to their support for Pakistan, CAIT confirmed on the 15th of May. Now, CAIT said there is no question of trading with countries that are against India, and this is the time for Indian traders to demonstrate their patriotism. Traders across the country are standing united under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership. CAIT is the leading traders body representing the interest of over 9 crore traders and small businesses across India, with a vast network of over 40,000 trade associations. In a dramatic rescue operation, the Indian Coast Guard successfully saved 6 crew members of cargo vessel MSV Salamat. Multi-purpose support vessel sank in the early hours of 14th of May, approximately 60 to 70 nautical miles southwest of Mangalore, Karnataka. The distress alert was first received from a passing vessel, MT Epic Susui, reporting a small boat adrift with survivors. Coast Guard ship Vikram, already patrolling nearby, rushed to the scene, recovering the stranded crew from a dinghy. We are heading for a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live. Now let's get your update on the ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis. Now, Russia and Ukraine will hold first peace talks in 3 years in Turkiye's Istanbul on Friday. Delegations from Ukraine, Russia and US along with Turkiye had been due to meet in Istanbul on Thursday for the first face-to-face Ukraine-Russia talks since 2022, but later postponed for Friday. Earlier, Russian President proposed direct talks on the 15th of May in Istanbul in response to a call by European leaders in Ukraine for a 30-day unconditional ceasefire. Zelensky then challenged Putin to meet him in person, but on Thursday, the Kremlin said that the Russian president was not among the officials due to travel. Zelensky had travelled to Turkey but said he would not attend the talks after his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin declined his calls for face-to-face negotiations. The Ukrainian president, however, confirmed that he would send a delegation for the talks in Istanbul, but criticized the low-level delegation being sent by Moscow.
Despite quite a low level of Russian delegation, but with respect to Donald Trump, with respect to the high level of Turkish delegation, with respect to President Erdogan, and willing to demonstrate to try to achieve at least first steps in de-escalation and ending the war, ceasefire. I decided to send our delegation to Istanbul, but not all of them. Head of State Security Service and Chief of Staff won't be there. The delegation will be led by the Defense Minister.
Нашу делегацію, але не всіх, безумовно, голови Служби безпеки, начальника Генштабу.
Let's go live across to Bhuj, where Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is addressing the soldiers.
भारत का मस्तक सारी दुनिया में आपने ऊंचा किया है, इसलिए मैं आप सबके बीच आया हूं। इसलिए ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान जो हमारे सैनिक अथवा हमारे सिविलियंस जो ही शहीद हुए हैं, सबको मैं नमन करता हूं, और जो हमारे बहादुर जवान घायल हुए हैं उनके शीघ्र स्वस्थ होने की भी मैं ईश्वर से मैं कामना करता हूं। आप जानते हैं कि हमारे देश की मजबूत भुजा भुज में आप सबके बीच आकर मुझे स्वाभाविक रूप से गौरव की अनुभूति हो रही है, और यह भुज 1965 में पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ हमारी जीत का भी साक्षी रहा है, और यह भुज 1971 में पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ हमारी जीत का भी यह साक्षी रहा है, और आज एक बार फिर यह भुज पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ हमारी जीत का साक्षी बना है। इसकी मिट्टी में देशभक्त की खुशबू है, और यहाँ के जवानों में भारत की सुरक्षा का एक अडिग संकल्प भी है। मैं आप सभी एयर वॉरियर्स, समस्त आर्म्ड फोर्सेस और अपने बीएसएफ के सभी जाबाजों का यहाँ पुनः अभिनंदन करता हूँ। अभी कल ही मैं श्रीनगर में सेना के अपने वीर जवानों से मिलकर लौटा हूँ, और आज मुझे आपके बीच आने का यहाँ अवसर मिला है। कल मैं भारत के उत्तरी भाग में जवानों से मिला हूँ, और आज मैं भारत के पश्चिमी भाग में अपने एयर वॉरियर्स और अन्य जवानों से भी यहाँ मिल रहा हूँ। दोनों ही फ्रंट्स पर हाई एनर्जी और हाई जोश देखकर सच्चाई है कि मैं स्वयं को अपने को उत्साहित महसूस कर रहा हूँ, और आश्वस्त हूँ कि भारत की सीमाएं आप सभी के मजबूत भुजाओं से पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित है। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, और मैं बताना चाहता हूं ऑपरेशन सिंदूर नाम किसने दिया? ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का नाम हमारे देश के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी ने दिया, जो इसी जापान की धरती, इसी गुजरात की धरती पर गुजराती मां के और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान जो कुछ भी आपने किया है, समस्त हिंदुस्तानियों को, चाहे वो भारत के रहने वाले हों अथवा दुनिया के दूसरे देशों में रहने वाले हों, सभी गौरवान्वित हुए हैं। भारतीय वायुसेना के लिए सिर्फ 23 मिनट यह काफी थे पाकिस्तान की सरजमी पर पल रहे आतंक के अजगर को कुचलने के लिए, और वह आपने करके दिखाया है। और मैं ये कहूं तो यह कहना गलत नहीं होगा, जितनी देर में लोग नाश्ता पानी निपटाते हैं उतनी देर में आपने दुश्मनों को निपटा दिया। आपने दुश्मनों की जमीन पर जाकर आपने मिसाइलें गिराई है। उसकी गूंज केवल भारत की सीमाओं तक ही सीमित नहीं रही है, बल्कि सारी दुनिया ने सुना है मेरे दोस्तों, सारी दुनिया ने सुना। और वास्तव में वह गूंज सिर्फ मिसाइल्स की ही नहीं थी, वह गूंज थी आपके शौर्य की और भारत के सेना के जवानों के पराक्रम की। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में भारतीय वायुसेना ने जो प्रभावी भूमिका निभाई है, उसकी सराहना इस देश में ही नहीं बल्कि दुनिया के दूसरे देशों में भी हो रही है। आपके इस ऑपरेशन में न केवल दुश्मनों को डोमिनेट किया है आपने, बल्कि उन्हें डेसिमेट करने में भी कामयाबी हासिल की है। आतंकवाद के खिलाफ चलाए गए इस अभियान को नेतृत्व हमारी एयरफोर्स ने ही किया, और हमारी एयरफोर्स एक ऐसी स्काई फोर्स है जिसने अपने शौर्य, पराक्रम और प्रताप से आसमान की नई और बुलंद ऊंचाइयों को भी छू लिया है। मैं चीफ एयर मार्शल एपी सिंह को भी इसके लिए मैं बधाई देना चाहता हूं, उनके पूरे ऑफिसर्स, उनके पूरे टीम, उनके सारे जवानों को भी मैं बधाई देता हूं। और साथियों, कोई छोटी बात नहीं है कि हमारी एयरफोर्स की पहुंच पाकिस्तान के हर कोने तक है, और ये बात पूरी तरह से साबित हो चुकी है तो हमारी तीनों फोर्सेस की, लेकिन आज एयरबेस पर आए हूं इसलिए मैं इसकी चर्चा कर रहा हूं। और आज स्थिति यह है कि भारत के फाइटर प्लेन बिना सरहद पार किए ही यहीं से उनके हर कोने तक सीधा प्रहार करने में पूरी तरह से सक्षम है। और पूरी दुनिया ने देख लिया है कि कैसे आपने पाकिस्तान की धरती पर मौजूद आतंकवाद के 9 ठिकानों को ध्वस्त कर दिया। बाद में की गई कार्रवाई में उनके अनेक एयरबेस भी तबाह कर दिए गए। ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने केवल पराक्रम ही नहीं दिखाया है, बल्कि पूरी दुनिया के सामने प्रमाण भी दिया है। प्रमाण इस बात का कि अब भारत की युद्ध नीति और टेक्नोलॉजी यानी तकनीक भी दोनों बदल चुकी है। आपने प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में नए भारत का संदेश पूरी दुनिया तक इस बार पहुंचा दिया है। और साथियों, यह संदेश है कि अब भारत केवल विदेशों से इंपोर्ट किए गए हथियारों और प्लेटफॉर्म्स पर ही निर्भर नहीं है, बल्कि भारत में बने अस्त्र और शस्त्र भी हमारी सैन्य शक्ति का अब हिस्सा बन चुके हैं। अब भारत में बने और भारतीय हथियारों से बने हथियार भी अचूक और अभेद्य हैं। यह पूरे विश्व ने देख लिया है। ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल की ताकत को तो पाकिस्तान ने खुद स्वीकार कर लिया है। हमारे देश में एक कहावत काफी पुरानी है और वह है दिन में तारे दिखना। मगर भारत में बनी ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल ने पाकिस्तान को रात के अंधेरे में दिन का उजाला दिखा दिया है। रात के अंधेरे में दिन का उजाला दिखा दिया है। भारत के जिस एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम की तारीफ हर तरफ हो रही है, उसमें डीआरडीओ द्वारा बनाए गए आकाश और अन्य राडार सिस्टम की जबरदस्त भूमिका रही है। साथियों, कई स्थानों पर हमारे नागरिक दुश्मन के ड्रोन आते देख भाग नहीं रहे थे, बल्कि हमारे एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम के हाथों उनको मार गिराने की वीडियो बना रहे थे। अब ड्रोन देखकर लोग भागने लगते हैं, लेकिन हमारे भारत के नागरिक वीडियो बना रहे थे। साथियों, आपने पाकिस्तान में मौजूद टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के खिलाफ प्रभावी कार्रवाई की है, मगर पाकिस्तान फिर से इस कोशिश में लग गया है कि ध्वस्त हुए आतंकी ढांचे को फिर से खड़ा किया जाए। वहां की सरकार पाकिस्तानी आम नागरिकों से लिया गया टैक्स जैशे मोहम्मद जैसे आतंकवादी संगठन के आका मसूद अजहर को करीब 14 करोड़ रुपए देने में खर्च करेगी, जबकि वह यूनाइटेड नेशंस डेजिग्नेटेड टेररिस्ट घोषित हो चुका है। इतना ही नहीं, लश्कर-ए-तोयबा और जैश ए मोहम्मद के मुरूद के और बहावलपुर स्थित टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को फिर से खड़ा करने के लिए पाकिस्तान सरकार ने आर्थिक सहायता देने की घोषणा की है, लेकिन निश्चित रूप से इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड से आने वाले $1 बिलियन के बड़े हिस्से को टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को फंड करने में इस्तेमाल होगा, ऐसा मेरा मानना है। क्या यह इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड IMF द्वारा, जो कि एक इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उसके द्वारा इनडायरेक्ट फंडिंग इसे नहीं माना जाएगा? मैं दुनिया के लोगों के सामने यह सवाल रखना चाहता हूं। इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि आज के समय में पाकिस्तान को किसी भी तरह की आर्थिक सहायता टेरर फंडिंग से कम नहीं है। भारत यही चाहेगा कि आईएमएफ पाकिस्तान को अपनी $1 बिलियन की असिस्टेंस पर वह पुनर्विचार करे और आगे भी किसी भी तरह की सहायता देने से आईएमएफ परहेज करे। भारत नहीं चाहता जो फंडिंग हम आईएमएफ को करते हैं वह डायरेक्ट या इनडायरेक्ट किसी भी तरीके से पाकिस्तान या किसी भी देश में टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बनाने में वह इस्तेमाल की जाए। हम नहीं चाहते। साथियों, अब यह स्पष्ट हो गया है कि पाकिस्तान में आतंकवाद और वहां की सरकार का चोली दामन का संबंध है। स्टेट और नॉन स्टेट एक्टर के बीच का नकाब अब पूरी तरह से उतर चुका है। अतः इस परिस्थिति में यदि वहां परमाणु अस्त्र एटॉमिक वेपन रहते हैं तो इस बात की संभावनाओं को भविष्य में नकारा नहीं जा सकता कि कभी वो आतंकवादी तत्वों के हाथों में चले जाएं। ये सिर्फ भारत के लिए नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया के लिए और पाकिस्तान की आम जनता के लिए भी एक गंभीर खतरे की बात होगी। सारे विश्व और खासकर पाकिस्तान की आवाम को यह समझना होगा कि वो कितने बड़े खतरे के मुकाम पर बैठे हैं। वो एक ऐसे बारूद की ढेर पर बैठे हैं जिसके चारों तरफ माचिसों आपस में लड़ते हुए लोग हैं। इस हालात के लिए पाकिस्तान की फौज को संदेश देना चाहूंगा, कागज का है लिबास, कागज का है लिबास, चिरागों का शहर है, चलना संभल संभल के क्योंकि तुम नशे में हो। साथियों, अभी आपने जो पराक्रम दिखाया है उसकी चर्चा पूरी दुनिया में हो रही है। जैसा मैंने पहले भी कहा, आज भारत को वैश्विक मंच पर जो सम्मान मिल रहा है उसकी बुनियाद में यदि कहा जाए साफ तौर पर तो वह है आपका पराक्रम। और यही कारण है कि भारत का बच्चा बच्चा आपको अपना आइडल मानता है, बच्चा बच्चा आपको अपना आदर्श मानता है। आपने पूरे देश को यकीन दिलाया है कि नया भारत अब सहन नहीं करता बल्कि वह पलटकर जवाब देता है। मैं चाहे जितना कुछ भी बोलूं, लेकिन मेरे शब्द आपके कार्य को मापने में असमर्थ होंगे। मैं कृतज्ञ राष्ट्र की ओर से आप सबके प्रति पुनः आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। साथियों, अब आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध लड़ाई केवल सुरक्षा का विषय नहीं बल्कि नेशनल डिफेंस डॉक्ट्रिन का यह हिस्सा बन चुकी है। हम आपके साथ मिलकर इस प्रॉक्सी और हाइब्रिड वॉरफेयर को जड़ से समाप्त करेंगे। रक्षा मंत्री होने के नाते यह संकल्प मैं दोहराना चाहता हूं। अब हमारा भारत पहले का भारत नहीं है। प्रधानमंत्री के नेतृत्व का यह नया भारत का जन्म हो चुका है। मेरे बहनों भाइयों, हम हमारे आराध्य श्री राम के उस मार्ग का अनुसरण करते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं जिसमें वह आसुरी शक्तियों के विनाश का प्रण लेते हैं। निश्चरहीन करौ मही भुज उठाई पण कीन, अर्थात जिस प्रकार भगवान राम ने अपनी भुजाओं को उठाकर धरती को राक्षस विहीन करने का प्रण लिया था, ठीक उसी प्रकार श्री राम के आदर्शों का पालन करते हुए हमने भी आतंकवाद को जड़ से समाप्त करने का संकल्प लिया है। साथियों, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हमारी सरकार आने के बाद सैन्य मामलों को लेकर भारत की सोच और सामर्थ्य दोनों में अभूतपूर्व बदलाव आया है। हम भगवान राम के उस सिद्धांत का पालन करते हैं, सठ संग विनय, कुटिल संग प्रीति, सहज कृपण संग सुंदर नीति, अर्थात दुष्ट के साथ विनम्रता, कुटिल के साथ सदाशयता और कंजूस के साथ उदारता का आचरण कभी भी नहीं करना चाहिए। मैं आप लोगों को भी बता रहा हूं। बल्कि सठे साठ्यम समाचरेत या टिट फॉर टैट। साथियों, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने यह स्पष्ट संदेश दे दिया है कि हमने शांति के लिए जितना अपना दिल खोल कर रखा है, शांति को नष्ट करने वालों के विरुद्ध उतना ही अपना हाथ भी खोल कर रखा है। साथियों, एक और बात मैं यहां साफ कहना चाहूंगा कि ऑपरेशन सिंदूर अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है। जो कुछ भी हुआ है वह सिर्फ एक ट्रेलर मात्र था। अब समय आएगा, जब भी सही समय आएगा, तो हम पूरी पिक्चर भी दुनिया को दिखाएंगे। साथियों, आप सब तो जानते ही होंगे कि भारत में जब भी कोई उपद्रवी तत्व होता है जिसको लेकर यह आशंका रहती है कि यह भविष्य में कुछ उपद्रव कर सकता है, तो उसको मजिस्ट्रेट एवं पुलिस द्वारा गुड बिहेवियर के प्रोबेशन पर रखा जाता है। कोई गड़बड़ करता है तो उसको कुछ समय के लिए मजिस्ट्रेट गुड बिहेवियर के प्रोबेशन पर रखते हैं। अगर वह व्यक्ति प्रोबेशन के दौरान कोई भी शरारत करता है तो उसे उचित दंड भी दिया जाता है। ठीक उसी तरह वर्तमान सीज फायर में हमने पाकिस्तान को बिहेवियर के आधार पर अभी प्रोबेशन पर रखा हुआ है। यदि उसका बिहेवियर सुधरता है तब तो ठीक, और यदि बिहेवियर में फिर से गड़बड़ी आती है तो उसको कड़े से कड़ा दंड दिया जाएगा। मैं फिर से इसे दोहराना चाहता हूं, अभी भारत ने पाकिस्तान को प्रोबेशन पर रखा है। वैसे भी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने हाल ही में एक बात बहुत साफ कही है कि आतंक प्रहार अब न्यू नॉर्मल है, यह न्यू इंडिया का न्यू नॉर्मल है। अब हमने साफ कर दिया है कि हमारी संप्रभुता को यदि कोई नुकसान पहुंचाएगा तो अब प्रहार भी झेलेगा। आतंकवाद का हम लाउडर और स्ट्रांगर जवाब देने के लिए तैयार हैं। साथियों, मैं जब देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में जाता हूं तो एक बात हर जगह सुनने को मिलती है कि हमें हमारी सेनाओं पर गर्व है, और क्यों न हो। आप सबने अपने पराक्रम से, अपने शौर्य से पूरे देश के दिल में एक अपनी खास जगह बनाई है। लेकिन क्या सिर्फ गर्व और सम्मान ही काफी है? मेरा मानना है कि नहीं। साथियों, कुछ साल पहले हम दुनिया से हथियार खरीदते थे, आज हम खुद बना रहे हैं बहुत सारे हथियार। कुछ लेते भी हैं, आर्टिलरी सिस्टम्स, राडार सिस्टम्स, मिसाइल शील्ड्स, ड्रोन्स और काउंटर ड्रोन्स जैसे साजो सामान आज हम भारत में ही मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हैं। हम इंपोर्टर से एक्सपोर्टर बन रहे हैं, और यह केवल शुरुआत भी है, केवल शुरुआत भर है। मैं आप सबको एक बार फिर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर की सफलता पर तहे दिल बधाई देता हूं, और मैं बस इतना कहूंगा कि आपके पराक्रम ने यह दिखा दिया है कि यह वो सिंदूर है, यह वो सिंदूर है जो श्रृंगार का नहीं बल्कि शौर्य का प्रतीक है। यह वह सिंदूर है जो सौंदर्य का नहीं बल्कि संकल्प का प्रतीक है। यह सिंदूर खतरे की वह लाल लकीर है, यह सिंदूर खतरे की वह लाल लकीर है जो भारत ने अब आतंकवाद के माथे पर खींच दी है। मैं इस अवसर पर साथियों आप सभी के साथ साथ देश की जनता का भी आभार प्रकट करता हूं। भारत की जनता ने एकजुटता और समझदारी का परिचय देते हुए आप सभी का, सरकार का, यानी पूरे देश का सहयोग किया है। इस लड़ाई में न केवल सरकार, आर्म्ड फोर्सेस और सुरक्षा बल, सभी नागरिक एकजुट थे, और मैं कह सकता हूं भारत का हर नागरिक इसमें सिपाही की तरह भागीदार था। मैं देश की उन माताओं को भी प्रणाम करना चाहता हूं जिनकी कोख से आप जैसे बहादुरों ने जन्म लिया है। मैं उन परिवारों को भी नमन करता हूं जिन्होंने आपको पाला पोसा और बिना किसी हिचक के राष्ट्र की सेवा के लिए आपको समर्पित कर दिया। और मैं आपको आश्वासन देता हूं, सरकार और देश की जनता हर कदम पर, हर स्थिति में आपके कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर आपके साथ खड़ी है। और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आपके सहयोग से हम इस पूरे रीजन में आतंकवाद का समूल नाश करेंगे, ताकि कल को कोई भारत की संप्रभुता के खिलाफ आंख उठाने की हिमाकत न कर सके। साथियों, मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि भारत की सेना जो अदम्य शौर्य दिखाया है और सरकार ने जो अद्भुत कूटनीतिक परिदृश्य बनाया है, मैं फिर से दोहराना चाहूंगा, भारत की सेना ने जो अदम्य शौर्य दिखाया है और सरकार ने जो अद्भुत कूटनीतिक परिदृश्य बनाया है, उसके आधार पर मेरे बहादुर जवानों, आप आश्वस्त रहिए कि भारत के भविष्य का सूर्य प्रखरता के साथ उदित होने वाला है और यह सब रात के टिमटिमाते हुए नक्षत्रों की तरह बुझने वाले हैं। इसलिए आज मैं कहने आया हूं, सेनानी करो प्रयाण अभय, सेनानी करो प्रयाण अभय, भावी इतिहास तुम्हारा है, सब नखत अमा के बुझते हैं, सारा आकाश तुम्हारा है। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ पुनः आप सबके प्रति आभार व्यक्त करते हुए और साथ ही आपके सभी परिवार के सदस्यों के प्रति कृतज्ञता ज्ञापित करते हुए, उनके प्रति हृदय से सम्मान की अभिव्यक्ति करते हुए अपना निवेदन समाप्त करता हूं। बोलिए भारत माता की, भारत माता की, बोले
So there you heard Defence Minister Rajnath Singh appreciating the Air Force personnel on the success of Operation Sindoor. As he said, Operation Sindoor is a symbol of courage, it's a symbol of valor and showcases a lot of strength and also an image of new India. And to get you more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent once again, Meghna Dev, straight from Bhuj. Meghna, when we talk about the courage, the valor that has once again been emphasized by the Raksha Mantri there from the ramparts of Bhuj, it showcases the capabilities, the strength of India and especially the new India that he's been emphasizing again and again. Meghna.
Yes, absolutely, and very major takeaways from Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh's address that he delivered just now at the Bhuj Air Force Station. He did clearly emphasize on that the contribution that India makes to the IMF. India would not like that the contribution would be used for Pakistan and Pakistan-sponsored terrorism activities. He said that that Pakistan is saying that it would rebuild those camps in Muridke and Bahawalpur. That clearly shows that the major part of the $1 billion fund that IMF has given to Pakistan would be going not to the welfare of the people of Pakistan, but it would be going to rebuild the terrorist activities. And Raksha Mantri did also reiterate that he is very, very firm that the funds are going to go for terrorist activities and for terrorists. But besides that, he clearly did say that what our Jawans have done, what our air warriors have done, what our forces have done is Shathe Shatyam Samachre. That actually is a Sanskrit, Sanskrit quote which says tit for tat. So that clearly shows what India has done, with what intentions India has done this. He also did laud the indigenous capabilities that India has, very clearly speaking about the indigenous capabilities that India has developed. Importantly, he also did say a few things that how India is now watching what Pakistan does, because India has kept Pakistan on a probation period. for good behavior. So if that is what it is and the way he calls it, it clearly shows that how India is going to monitor that is Pakistan again going to harbor terrorists and continue harboring terrorists for that matter, continue harboring terrorists, continuing sowing seeds of terrorism. So that clearly paints a picture that how India is going to closely monitor, and not only monitor but also ensure that there are no roots of terrorism anywhere in the region. He did not just say that India is being affected by terrorism, he also did say that in the region. So clearly the fight against terrorism that India is leading at the moment in the region is something that India is not going to pull back from very clearly. And he also did say that the IAEA also, India has said that such irresponsible countries having and doing nuclear blackmail is something that India is not going to deter India's spirit, that India will continue against terrorism. So clearly very important very important message Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh sending out from this important Air Force station in Bhuj. Very important Air Force station because it was very very strategic during the 1965 war or the 1971 war. Bhuj has clearly a very important strategic location, as well as now we're not only talking about the Air Force, we're also talking about Army and the Navy and the Coast Guards that are deployed along the district, along the coastline. So clearly a very important we can say a very important aspect wherein Raksha Mantri has lauded our forces, but a very important, strong, straight messaging coming out from the Bhuj Air Force Station.
And sending across to not only Pakistan but to the entire world, depicting India's capabilities. Thank you so much, Meghna De, for joining us and bringing us the important highlights of Defence Minister's speech and address to the armed forces there in Bhuj. Moving on, the father of an Israeli soldier killed during the Hamas attack on the 7th of October called on the international community to act to free the hostages held in Gaza and for Hamas to return his son's remains. Ruby Chen's son, Itay Chen, was serving as a soldier when Hamas carried out its surprise cross-border assault through southern Israeli towns and military bases, sparking the conflict in Gaza. The dual US citizen was believed to have been held as the hostage, but the Israeli military confirmed Itay's death in March of last year.
We, the U.S. hostage families and the 54 other families with hostages in Gaza, are collateral damage. Yeah, collateral damage is the best thing I got in a conflict that has been going on for decades. We want Itay back, and his physical status, whatever it might be, does not make him any less of a hostage.
Iran is set to hold talks with Britain, France and Germany in Turkiye on Friday after US President Donald Trump said a nuclear deal with Tehran was getting close. Talking to the media, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi confirmed that the next round of Iran-Europe talks at the level of deputy foreign ministers will be held in Istanbul on Friday. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the meeting will focus on consultations and discussions on the indirect Tehran-Washington talks. The talks with Britain, France and Germany in Istanbul comes as Tehran and Washington are expected to hold a fifth round of nuclear talks in the coming days. Britain, France and Germany were part of the 2015 nuclear deal signed between Iran and world powers that Donald Trump unilaterally withdrew from in 2018. The European Union and UK will be heading into a pivotal summit in London on Monday, aiming to finalise a landmark defence and security partnership while continuing to clash over fishing rights and food import checks. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer will host European Union leaders, including Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, as part of a symbolic reset in post-Brexit relations. The Defence Pact, spurred by growing threats from Russia and concerns over US support under Donald Trump, could pave the way for UK involvement in European Union missions and access to $167 billion European Union Defence Fund. However, negotiations remain tense over access for EU fishermen and a youth mobility scheme that Britain sees as a threat to its immigration controls. Officials expect the security agreement to be signed, but say many issues will require further talks. The summit will also include 2 additional documents on shared global goals and ongoing contentious topics. Indira Gandhi Cultural Centre, High Commission of India in Dhaka celebrated Buddha Purnima on Thursday. The cultural evening included a musical storytelling of Lord Buddha's life, Bharatnatyam and Odissi dance performances. Speaking at the Buddha Purnima celebrations, High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Pranay Verma, emphasized the deep spiritual and cultural ties. The highlight of the evening was a musical storytelling showcasing the life of Lord Buddha, choreographed by the celebrated dancer Proma Aponti. Now let's get you business update. Facebook parent company Meta Platforms asked a federal judge to throw out the US Federal Trade Commission's case accusing it of an illegal social media monopoly, saying the agency failed to prove its case at a high-stakes antitrust trial. At the trial, which began on the 14th of April in Washington, the FTC has sought to show that Meta, then known as Facebook, illegally dominated the market for social media platforms used to share updates with friends and family through its acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp. The FTC is seeking to unwind those deals that occurred more than a decade ago. If granted, Meta's request for a ruling on the evidence so far would bring a quicker end to the case, though US District Judge James Boasberg could decline to take it up. Meta is now presenting its own evidence at the trial, which may run into the month of June. Japan's economy shrank much more than expected in the first quarter of 2025 as the country's key exports slid amid tariff-related disruptions in global trade while private consumption remained weak. Japan's economy contracted 0.2% in the 3 months to March, registering the first quarterly drop in a year, according to a cabinet office data released on Friday. The preliminary figure was worse than market expectations of a 0.1% contraction, with the world's 4th largest economy currently trying to negotiate relief from US trade tariffs. You're watching Daily India Live, and now let's get you all the latest from the world of sports. To begin with soccer, Barcelona secured their 28th La Liga title on Thursday when they beat city rivals Espanyol by 2-0. Espanyol were arguably the better side in a first half that was goalless, and thanks to Barcelona's scorekeeper, who made a brilliant save. Lamine Yamal opened the scoring in the second half with a brilliant curling effort before Fermin Lopez added another in the 95th minute to secure victory. The result moved Barcelona to 85 points, 7 ahead of second-placed Real Madrid with 2 games left to play. Barcelona fans celebrated their team's La Liga title. The team completed a domestic treble this season with Copa del Rey and Spanish Super Cup victories. Al-Ittihad clinched the Saudi Pro League title with 2 matches to spare as they came from a goal down to beat Al Raed by 3-1. Al-Ittihad needed a victory to earn their 10th league title, but Al Raed drew first blood as Omar Gonzalez gave the bottom team the lead. Al-Ittihad fought back with Steven Bergwijn, equalizing 12 minutes later. A Danilo Pereira header gave them the lead shortly before half-time. 2 minutes into the second half, Abdul Rahman Al Oboud put the game out of Al Riyadh's reach. The victory moved Al Ittihad to 77 points from 32 matches, 9 points ahead of second-placed Al Hilal. In athletics, reigning javelin throw world champion Neeraj Chopra will spearhead a 4-front India challenge at the Doha Diamond League, which is scheduled to kick off on Friday. Asian Games silver medalist Kishore Jeena will keep Neeraj company in the men's javelin throw event, while Parul Chaudhary will compete in the women's 3,000-meter steeplechase event. Another Indian athlete, Kulveer Singh, is all set for his Diamond League debut when he takes to the tracks in the men's 5,000-meter race. This is the largest Indian contingent at any single Diamond League edition so far. Neeraj Chopra won the Doha leg of the Diamond League in 2023 and finished as a runners-up in the second year. In cricket, opener Shafali Verma and wicketkeeper batter Yastika Bhatia have returned to India's women cricket team after selectors picked the squads for the upcoming tour of England. India have named a 15-member T20 squad. The ODI squad consists of 16 players. Both the teams will be led by Harmanpreet Kaur, who will be assisted by Smriti Mandhana. Verma has been included in the T20 squad after a gap of 7 months. Yastika Bhatia, who was sidelined since last November due to a wrist injury, also returned to the team. Yastika is a part of both T20 and one-day squad. India will play 5 T20Is and 3 ODIs in England starting the 28th of June. In tennis, American Coco Gauff clinched a marathon 3-set battle against China's Zheng Qinwen to advance into the Italian Open final. Gauff will face at least Jasmine Paolini in Saturday's title match after pulling through 7-6, 4-6, 7-6 in the semi-finals that lasted over 3.5 hours. 6-seed Paolini is the third Italian woman to reach the final and the first since her doubles partner Sara Errani were thumped by Serena Williams back in the year 2014. Paolini will have a chance to be the first woman from the Mediterranean nation to win in Rome since Rafaela in 1985. In men's singles category, Yannick Sinner marched into the semi-final of the Italian Open after destroying Casper Ruud in straight sets by 6-0, 6-1. Ruud was supposed to be Sinner's toughest test in Rome since he came back from his doping ban, but the 23-year-old demolished Ruud in just over an hour. Sinner won the first set in just 27 minutes and maintained his record of not dropping a set in the tournament. Sinner will next play American Tommy Paul, while the other semi-final will pit Lorenzo Musetti against Spanish Carlos Alcaraz on Friday. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from the country and the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.